Here's the uncomfortable truth about modern dating. Being the nice guy doesn't guarantee attraction. In fact, it often leads to frustration, confusion, and the same heartbreaking pattern we keep seeing over and over again. Guys pouring their hearts out, asking why the woman they've been nothing but sweet and caring toward just friend-zoned them for some guy who barely texts back. And here's the kicker. This isn't some rare occurrence. This is happening to millions of men every single day, and they have no idea why. If you've ever found yourself wondering why being the perfect gentleman seems to repel women instead of attract them, you're about to discover something that will completely reshape how you think about dating and relationships. Because what I'm going to share with you today isn't just theory. It's based on observable patterns that play out in real life, over and over again. Let's start with a scenario that might sound familiar. There's a guy, let's call him Mike. Mike sees an attractive woman at work. He starts bringing her coffee every morning, remembers every detail she mentions about her life, offers to help with her projects, and basically becomes her personal assistant. In his mind, he's showing her what an amazing boyfriend he'd be. But here's what actually happens. She starts dating the guy from accounting who she barely knows, but who challenged her opinion during a meeting, and then walked away without seeking her approval. This drives Mike absolutely insane because in his logical mind, his behavior should be winning. He's demonstrating value, showing care, proving his worth. But attraction doesn't operate on logic, and this is where the good guy syndrome reveals its first major flaw. The foundation of this syndrome lies in a fundamental misunderstanding of what creates romantic attraction versus what creates comfort and security. When a man defaults to being overly accommodating, agreeable, and self-sacrificing, he's actually triggering a woman's platonic response rather than her romantic one. Think about it. These are the exact same behaviors she experiences with her closest female friends or her brother. Here's where it gets interesting from a psychological standpoint. Women are subconsciously screening for a partner who can handle challenges, navigate conflict, and maintain his own identity under pressure. When a man immediately folds to her preferences, agrees with everything she says, and prioritizes her comfort above his own boundaries, he's inadvertently signaling that he might not be equipped to handle the complexities of a romantic relationship, or life in general. This creates what researchers call the attraction paradox. The very behaviors that men think should make them more attractive, being accommodating, available, and agreeable, often have the opposite effect. Meanwhile, the man who maintains his own opinions, creates some mystery about his intentions, and doesn't immediately surrender his power in the interaction becomes infinitely more intriguing. But here's what most guys don't understand about this dynamic. It's not that women consciously prefer to be treated poorly or that they enjoy drama for the sake of it. What's actually happening is much more sophisticated. Women are biologically wired to be attracted to men who demonstrate what psychologists call social proof and outcome independence. These are indicators that suggest a man has options, confidence, and the ability to thrive regardless of any particular woman's response to him. The good guy, unfortunately, demonstrates the exact opposite. By being overly invested from the beginning, by making her the center of his universe before she's earned that position, and by seeking her validation at every turn, he's communicating that he doesn't have other options and that his happiness depends entirely on her approval. This creates an unconscious pressure that most women find suffocating rather than flattering. Now let's talk about the timing element, because this is crucial. Attraction is often about the right behavior at the right time. Early in any potential romantic connection, mystery and challenge create intrigue. Being too available, too predictable, and too eager to please eliminates the very tension that fuels romantic interest. It's like trying to create a fire by smothering it with kindness instead of giving it the space and air it needs to ignite. This doesn't mean women want to be treated badly. That's a dangerous oversimplification that leads to toxic behavior. What they respond to is balanced masculine energy. This means being kind and respectful while also being willing to disagree, maintaining your own interests and goals, and not being afraid to create some healthy tension in conversations. Think about the difference between these two approaches. The good guy says, "Whatever you want to do is fine with me," when planning a date. The balanced approach says, "I was thinking we could check out that new art gallery downtown, but if you hate art, we could do the hiking trail instead. What sounds better to you?" One approach surrenders all decision-making power, while the other leads while still considering her input. The psychological principle at play here is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's one of the most powerful drivers of human behavior. When someone receives consistent, predictable, positive reinforcement, like the constant validation and attention from a good guy, the brain actually becomes less excited by it over time. But when that reinforcement becomes unpredictable, when someone has to work slightly to earn positive responses, the brain releases more dopamine and creates stronger emotional associations. This is why the guy who's sometimes warm and sometimes slightly distant, who's genuinely interested but not desperate, creates more psychological impact than the guy who's constantly available and consistently validating. It's not manipulation, it's understanding how human psychology actually works in romantic contexts. Another critical aspect of the good guy syndrome is the lack of boundaries. Men who fall into this pattern often say yes to everything, tolerate disrespectful behavior, and fail to communicate their own needs clearly. They think this makes them easier to love, but it actually makes them harder to respect. And respect is a non-negotiable foundation for romantic attraction. Women need to be able to see how a man handles adversity, disagreement, and challenges to his boundaries. When a man has no boundaries or fails to enforce them, it creates uncertainty about his ability to protect and lead in more serious life situations. This isn't about being controlling or domineering. It's about demonstrating that you have standards for how you allow yourself to be treated. The solution isn't to become cold, distant, or manipulative. The solution is to develop what's called attractive confidence. This means being genuinely interested in getting to know her while maintaining your own life, goals, and standards. It means being willing to walk away if the situation isn't serving you, not as a manipulation tactic, but as a genuine expression of self-respect. Here's the practical reality. Attraction is built through a combination of showing interest and creating space, being warm and being challenging, demonstrating care while maintaining independence. The good guy gives away all his power up front and wonders why the woman doesn't value what she received so easily. The most successful men in dating understand that early romantic interactions are about creating mutual intrigue and respect, not about proving their worth through endless gestures and accommodations. They understand that a woman needs to earn their full investment just as much as they need to earn hers. This mindset shift changes everything. Instead of trying to convince a woman why she should like you, you're evaluating whether she's someone you genuinely want to invest your time and energy in. Instead of seeking her approval, you're offering her the opportunity to be part of your already fulfilling life. The good guy syndrome ultimately fails because it's based on the flawed premise that romantic attraction can be negotiated or earned through good behavior alone. But attraction is an emotion, and emotions respond to different triggers than logical appreciation does. Understanding this isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about expressing your authentic masculine energy in a way that creates genuine attraction, rather than comfortable friendship. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be chosen out of guilt, obligation, or settling. You want to be chosen out of genuine desire and excitement. The men who succeed in dating and relationships aren't necessarily the most handsome or wealthy. They're the ones who understand these psychological dynamics and express their interest in ways that create mutual attraction rather than one-sided investment. Remember, being a good man and being attractive to women aren't mutually exclusive. The goal is to be both, someone with strong character who also understands how to create and maintain romantic chemistry. That's the real secret to escaping the friend zone forever. If you liked this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe.